Welcome to the Elite Alpha podcast, where high-performance men come to master their minds, dominate their decisions, and command every aspect of their lives. This isn't for the weak. This isn't for the complacent. This is for the elite, the men who refuse to settle, who know they're built for more, and who are ready to sharpen their edge. Here we don't just talk success, we engineer it. Each episode is packed with battle-tested strategies, unfiltered truth, and no BS tactics to help you think faster, act decisively, and own your future. If you're here to level up and eliminate hesitation to build an unshakable mindset, then you're in the right place. Power moves only. No hesitation. Let's get to work. Welcome to the Elite Alpha podcast, where high-achieving men come to sharpen their mindset, dominate their decisions, and take back full control over their lives. Today, we're talking about one of the most critical skills an elite leader must master, and that is decision-making. If you're stuck second-guessing yourself or over-analyzing every single move, you're bleeding time, money, and power. The difference between an elite leader and the average businessman is speed and precision in decision-making. Indecision is weakness. Hesitation kills momentum. And waiting for the perfect timing is just another excuse. By the end of this episode, you'll walk away with battle-tested strategies that high-level CEOs, elite military leaders, and top athletes use to commit with confidence and execute with precision. In this episode, we cover why decision fatigue is quietly destroying your edge and how to fix it, how powerful leaders separate critical decisions from distractions, the 3-step alpha framework to making high-stake decisions with absolute clarity, and tactical execution strategies that you can start using today. Let's dive in. Most men don't realize this, but every day you make thousands of micro decisions. What to wear, what to eat, which email to reply to first. Research shows that the average person makes 35,000 decisions per day. 35,000. And the more decisions that you make, the more mentally drained you become. And that's a problem, because by the time you reach the critical high stakes decisions, you're probably already mentally exhausted. Your brain is depleted. And that is when hesitation creeps in. So the alpha move is to eliminate unnecessary choices. So systemize the small stuff. Protect your decision-making energy for what actually matters. So Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, and Barack Obama all wore the same outfit daily. Why? To remove decision fatigue. They understood that every choice, no matter how small, takes energy. So what you can do today is pre-decide small decisions, whether that's a go-to outfit, maybe planning meals ahead of times. Just automate some minor choices. You can use decision batching, so only checking your emails twice a day and then blocking out time for deep work. This one really helps with a lot of the clients that I work with. So instead of them getting distracted and making decisions in random and regular moments throughout their day, they only check their emails, say it's 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. and that is it. They will not look at their emails any other time. That then frees their mental capacity up to be able to make higher level, more strategic decisions and then focus on those more minor things at those certain times of the day. So you can ask yourself, does this decision really move the needle? And if it doesn't, stop wasting mental energy on it. When you eliminate that noise, you gain clarity for what truly matters, what decisions you really need to make. And what if I told you that 80% of your results comes from just 20% of your decisions? Elite performers don't make more decisions, they make fewer but more impactful ones. Let's look at Jeff Bezos' decision-making framework. He classifies decisions into 2 types. Type 1 decisions, which are irreversible, high-stakes moves that demand deep thought. These are big bets that you don't take lightly. An example would be expanding Amazon into AWS. This wasn't a quick test. It was a high-risk investment that required major resources, long-term strategy, and a commitment to seeing it through. Once it was set in motion, reversing that decision wasn't an option. Being a type 1 decision that's irreversible, if you make a bad type 1 decision, it could cripple your business, your finances, or your reputation. These require careful planning and execution. Then you have type 2 decisions, which are reversible, low-risk moves that can be adjusted later. So they require more speed over perfection. So it might be testing a new Amazon feature. If it works, great, they scale it. If it fails, who cares? They scrap it with a minimal loss. The key there was fast action. Why this matters is because most men overcomplicate small, reversible decisions. Instead of executing quickly, they overthink, delay, and then they're missing the opportunities. They're treating the type 2 decisions like type 1 decisions and really allowing the over-analysis to take over, and then they hesitate. So not every decision is life or death. Elite leaders know which decisions need deep analysis and which ones require fast action. So your alpha move is to ask yourself, is this a type 1 or type 2 decision? If it's reversible, decide fast and then just adjust later as needed. Here's the system high-level operators use to make decisions fast and fearlessly. The first step is to have clarity first. So strip away the noise, remove any emotional clutter and external opinions. You're the expert here, right? What's the real objective? Then you can use the if it's not a hell yes, it's a no rule. So if you're making a decision or have an opportunity that doesn't immediately ignite enthusiasm, clarity, and conviction, then the answer should be a no. No overanalyzing, no hesitation. Most people get stuck in indecision because they're trying to rationalize maybe decisions. High performers only say yes to things that align fully with their vision, values, and their goals. So, for example, if you've been offered a business deal but you're feeling lukewarm about it, if it's not a hell yes, walk away. A new opportunity arises, but if you're not fully excited, skip it. The alpha move is if something doesn't immediately excite, inspire, or align, then it's probably going to be a no. Step 2 is speed over perfection. Action kills overthinking. So waiting for 100% certainty is a trap. The military operates on 70% certainty because waiting too long costs lives. So special forces teams execute missions without having all of the intel. They move forward with what they know and they adapt on the fly. That's how leaders operate. I've been in situations on the fireground as a professional firefighter where I've had to make decisions quickly. Am I waiting to know that I'm 100%? No. I'm basing up the facts that are in front of me, the data that I have, and if I'm at 70% certainty, I am going in because at the end of the day, it could save someone's life. You need to think about the worst case scenario. What could happen? Because if you can recover from it, then you need to take action now. If the worst case scenario was death in my situation, or if it was a business loss or something that is critical, that makes sense then to analyze the situation. But if you can recover from the worst case scenario, take action now. Step 3 is to own it and execute it. So stop second guessing yourself. Powerful men and alphas make decisions non-negotiable. Once you commit, you go all in. Burn the boats, no exit strategy, no escape hatch, you move forward or you dominate. Elon Musk, for example, bet everything on Tesla and SpaceX. He had no backup plan. He wasn't playing it safe. He put everything on the line. His money, his reputation, and even his abilities to survive financially. At one point, he was down to his last millions, funding Tesla's survival out of his own pocket. He had no backup plan. This matters because if Elon Musk had held back, hedged his bets, or played it safe, Tesla and SpaceX wouldn't exist today. He removed the option of failure by making his commitment irreversible. Because he had no retreat, he was forced to innovate, adapt, and push forward relentlessly. Now that is an alpha move. If you give yourself a backup plan, You'll use it in the moments when things get hard. There's a secondary gain then to opt out. And the elite men that I've worked with, they don't give themselves that opt out. The total commitment forces creativity, resilience, and execution. You can even ask yourself, where have you left an escape hatch open? And what decision do you need to fully commit to today? Maybe think about one decision that you've been putting off and decide today to commit fully and move forward. Where would that take you if you went all in? There's one more framework that I want to discuss with you today, and that's the 10-10-10 rule. It's a decision-making framework designed to help you evaluate the choices from different time perspectives to eliminate emotional bias and focus on the long-term impact. So how it works is before making a decision, you ask yourself 3 questions. How will I feel about this in 10 minutes? Which is your immediate emotion. How will I feel about this in 10 months? So this is more of the short-term consequences. And then how will I feel about this in 10 years? Which is the long-term impact. One of the reasons why this works is because it prevents that impulsive, emotion-driven decision that might feel good now, but then hurt later. Or the opposite, feel really bad now, but then feel good later. It forces you to have some long-term thinking, making sure that you're acting in alignment with your bigger vision. And it provides the perspective, allowing you to zoom out for a moment and see if a choice really matters in the grand scheme. So if you're considering quitting a difficult project because it's frustrating, you might look at it and go, look, in 10 minutes time, this sucks and I want out. That's how I still will feel. But in 10 months, you might feel that if you quit now, you will probably regret it and you have lost that momentum. But then in 10 years time, you might also feel that if you had pushed through, you will have had built resilience and gained a huge level of experience from that decision. Use the 10-10-10 rule when faced with tough choices to ensure your actions align with long-term success, not just short-term comfort. So there you have it. You now have the framework to cut through hesitation, eliminate indecision, and move with absolute certainty. Remember that decision fatigue is real. Eliminate unnecessary choices so you have mental energy for what truly matters. Use the type 1 versus type 2 decision framework to separate the high stakes moves from quick reversible ones. And follow the 3-step alpha decision-making framework: clarity, speed, and commitment. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. So stop wasting time on that half-hearted decisions. And last but not least, the 10-10-10 rule. So that you aren't making decisions emotionally and you are thinking about the long-term impact that it will have. So your next steps now are to identify one major decision that you've been overthinking and perhaps committing to it. Starting to train yourself to act with 70% certainty. That perfection is a myth and execution wins. And maybe even share this episode with another high achiever who needs to hear this. Iron sharpens iron. And if you do want to take this deeper, apply for our Assess Your Life Alpha session. And let's recalibrate your leadership for absolute dominance. Thanks for tuning into the Elite Alpha podcast. I'm Matilda Wand, a behavioral strategist and private alpha coach, dedicated to helping elite men break barriers, elevate their leadership, and dominate in all areas of their life. If you got value from this episode, share it with someone who needs to hear it. You can like, comment, and let me know your biggest takeaway. Your feedback helps us keep delivering high-impact content for high achievers like you. In your corner, Matilda Wand.